Hello, listeners, and welcome to another one of my podcasts. It's been a while, but I thought I'd get back on it. You know, it's the right time. There's so many things to talk about in the world, and we want to share a bit of happiness and, you know, and positiveness. And I think a podcast like this one, talking to people that are on the creator side, is, a good way to do it. So today I've got a good friend of mine. His name is Gunawan, or we will call him G, because I think you're going to tell me why. But he is a Sydney-based photographer of different modes, right? I've seen your Insta and I've seen your website.
Yeah, a bit of a jack of all trades.
A jack of all trades, but there is an art to everything. So welcome. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Man. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Yeah. So we're enjoying some coffees today, and we're going to talk everything about photography. We're talking about your journey.
Nice.
But we're also going to talk about, like how do someone starting in the photography sort of path, what are those roadblocks and what are those challenges that you're going to have to overcome, including like yourself, as in, your state of mind. And
exactly. There's a lot to unpack on that side, right?
Exactly, right. So that's what I wanted to sort of have this podcast. And this podcast is primarily about creators. It's primarily about teaching, those skills. And I'm so happy to have you on.
Thanks, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah. So I read that you were born in Malaysia.
Indonesia.
Yeah,
Indonesia.
Apologies. Yeah. And then you immigrated as a child to Australia?
No, actually, I was 25 when I immigrated here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously that was a big life change.
There was a huge life change, man. As you know, if you've been to Asian country, they're really hectic. Like all things are happening at all hours.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Australia, first time I tasted Australia when I was 19. It was 1999. I got here. I meant to come here for study. Mum sent me here. And then that was a bit of a culture shock because, 5 o'clock, all the shops are closed.
They were. It was like no life.
No life.
Apart from the pub.
Exactly. So I'm very used to that lifestyle of when I was back home in Indonesia, right? Like hang out with friends all the time. Came home, have shower, hang out again with friends. That just a bit of a shock when I got here. And everything's dark as well. If you look at the houses in the suburb, they're all really dark, right? It's not really bright. So I only lasted 7 months.
It was that much of I guess it would have been. See, unlike me, I came as a child, right? And so I sort of grew up in that sort of environment.
Did you feel a culture shock?
Did
you remember anything?
Oh, absolutely. For me, everything was shiny and new when I came because I was 8. So I was a little bit younger. Yeah. And so it definitely sort of gave me that feeling of being somewhere like an adventure.
Okay, so it's more on the exciting side.
On the exciting side, because you're looking at it through a child's eyes.
Yes.
But you were looking at it through adult eyes. And obviously you already had your expectations of what nightlife should be. Or what. And so I can imagine this boring old Sydney town wouldn't have been the most exciting place.
Back then, yes, absolutely. I was like, this is boring, man. I'm going back.
And some people are going to say that that's exactly what it's like now as well, because with, lockout laws and, so it's changed a lot.
It changed a lot. It's a lot better now, maybe because I've got a lot of friends as well now, social life and family.
And I do. I have traveled in Asia, so I know that like if you get hungry at whatever time of the night, you can go to the hawker and you can get your food and
street food,
and you can go anywhere you want.
Exactly. It's a bit dangerous in that way, but
it is.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it is. Not the eating part, but the actual experience of being. But then, like if you're in town, you can sort of there's clubs and whatever where everyone's sort of hanging out, which is always good fun as well.
Yes, 24/7, man.
So then you went back. So you didn't pick up a course. There was no studying. You just sort of started and then sort of said, "Not for me."
Yeah, not for me. Well, I was meant to finish my study, but I obviously didn't finish the study. I went back home because back then as well, I got a band playing in Indonesia, and they've been summons to radios, interviews, and all that, and I missed out. I was like, dude, I wrote all the songs. I missed out. I want to go back, man. I want to live that band life,
Yeah.
It didn't work out, obviously. And then 5 years later, Mom's already here. And Mum said, I want to apply you to be part of my application for permanent residency.
Nice.
Do you want me to be included? Do you want me to include you? I was like, yeah, why not? Give it a shot, second chance. Because at the time, after those 5 years in Indonesia, I felt that I kind of hit my ceiling with what I could do. So I was looking life at more mature, eyes.
You do. I mean, you have that energy and that ambition when you're very young.
Yeah.
And you got unlimited amounts of energy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've got 3 kids that are musicians in some way, whether
nice.
Singers, drummers, DJs.
Yeah, I should jam with your kids, right?
Yeah, man. So and they, obviously I'm a singer, not a musician.
Nice,
I never had the ability to sit in front of an instrument and just do it.
That's gonna change.
And so I understand that energy that you have and the passion. And a lot of my kids, they did do the thing, and they still. One of them is still heavily in his music. The DJ,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
But then you get to a stage in your life where reality sets in.
Reality kicks in. Yeah.
Am I going to be able to live off this? I think that's probably the question you had.
Yes.
And how hard was to make that decision for you?
I think at the time, my band hasn't, apart from going to radios and interviews and song being published, I haven't got to the stage that, okay, I got to make a living out of it yet. Because before we even got to that stage, we got band members, we got egos, and then we basically crumbled down before we even started. So I was like, okay, this is it.
And it happens. It's the ego. I guess the story of any band.
Yeah.
And the successful ones is the ones that negotiate through that. Or,
yeah, exactly.
Or have the right members that allows them to continue. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess if the Rolling Stones weren't good mates, they probably wouldn't have played, for so long, right?
Yeah.
Because you go nuts if you had to be in a room with people you didn't get on with.
Yeah, but when you're 19 years old, it's like it's different.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Mum sort of said, hey, she threw you, threw you a bone, and you kind of said, oh, Australia? Did you kind of roll your eyes, or what was it?
I didn't actually. I think at that time, because after 5 years living in Jakarta, and I kind of hit my ceiling with what I could do. Plus, I didn't go to uni, so my opportunities were pretty limited back then.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not? Give it a second chance. And then I moved here 2005. But the first couple of years, I was still in a mindset of, I'm just going to move here and then work for a bit, but I'm still going to go back home at one point, because I don't think I can live here forever, back then.
Yes.
Back then.
Yeah.
But I think it started to change on a year 4, year 5, and then now I got really, drawn into Australia. I was like, this is where I'm going to live.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did go through the same journey, but obviously for me it was a little bit different, because when, coming of age, you have a lot of friends at school and whatever. And then you start thinking, what is my identity? And while with you always knew you were from Indonesia, and then you wanted to start a different sort of life in Australia. While with me, it was like growing up in Australia as an immigrant, and then having to realize, okay, who am I? I'm from Chile? Am I Chilean?
I see.
Or am I Australian?
Yes.
And to me, the realization didn't come until I became a husband and a father, and work would send me out to other parts of the world. And that coming back made me realize that, the heart, where the heart is at home. And then home equals Australia.
Yes.
And then when you have the luxury of comparing, like going to other countries and I would never live here, you'd start realizing how good Australia is.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of people who's never been to places, like who's born here, they don't have any idea how good we have it here.
Yes.
Even on the worst days, man.
Yeah. And we sort of, because of our distance and obviously our very small population in comparison to other countries, our large Western world countries, we don't have all those overheads that those other people do. And I've visited China and I've visited America and Europe and it's great to sort of know those places have culture.
Yeah.
And it's great because obviously you get that experience.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
look, I got to tell you, and probably we're going to get criticized for this, but culture is not everything. Having a good lifestyle
Yeah.
where you can get healthcare and nothing's
That's
too
huge.
exorbitant,
Yeah.
apart from home prices. But that's another episode all on itself. But you realize how good we got it here.
Oh, 100%. After a while, then that's how I started to realize. And a couple of years in, I think that's one of them. The other parties, every time I come back there and then dealing with the bureaucracy and everything, I started to realize that how much we've got it simplified in Australia compared to Indonesia.
Yes.
Right? And then for that reason, then, yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's a great environment to raise kids.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and that to me it was the decider. No, I got a chance to take the family overseas and live over there, and it was a good experience. But I always I never thought of staying away. I always wanted to come back, and so for me it was you realize in the long run where home is.
Yes, it's funny with the kids side of it because before I had kids, I had this thought of, okay, when I've got kids, I'm gonna grow my kids in Indonesia because life is a bit tough over there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get them to feel that and then get the resilience going.
Tough love.
Tough love, and then move to Australia once they kind of get an understanding and can appreciate more. But that just didn't happen.
Yeah. No, and I was the same. I've got options through work to go and live in other countries.
Okay.
And for me, it was, I think the first one was to go on Japan.
Yeah.
Right, to Japan.
Yeah.
And but I never had the go to Japan and be a Japanese person and live and send your kids to Japanese schools. I did the maths and I was going to be an expat. And obviously that's so expensive over there.
I see.
So I just sort of said no.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret it, although I'm very happy in Australia.
I think Japan could be a good option. Though.
Japan's a good option, apart from radioactive fish. But like there's definitely some things happen, and then and obviously you end up in the right place. So you ended up in Sydney.
Yes.
So you went through all the paperwork and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
And did you get naturalized? Did you become a citizen?
I am in the process now.
of it.
Yeah.
And that's the final sort of, okay, I've fully crossed the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I was that's something that weighed me down. I was like, I really want to go across, and then I said no, because I still want to run workshops in Indonesia and all that. But after the last visit back to Indonesia a couple of months ago, I was like, man, this is it.
Yeah. and do you lose your nationality if you become?
I will have to give that up. Yeah.
Chili.
Yeah.
You do not lose your nationality.
Oh, how good.
I know. It's
That's
like
so good.
It's like, no, man, you want to go? We're never going to let you go.
Wow, okay. I would love Indonesia to be like that.
Yeah, so obviously for some reason that law is there. So once you're born there, you're always, it doesn't matter what you call yourself, you're Chilean all the way through.
Yes.
And so then you arrive and then you probably ask yourself, well, what do I do with myself?
Oh, 100%.
And take me through that sort of that journey because you're already an adult.
Yes.
And your mum's going, so what are you going to do with your life? No doubt, right? In Indonesia.
My mum doesn't do that actually.
Doesn't she?
If I follow, my mum spoiled me to the level of like a dangerous, but it's love. It's love. I really appreciate my mum. She's one of the most hardworking people that I know.
Yeah, God bless mums.
Yeah. So she didn't do that, but it's more like me that has that big drive. Like, what am I going to do here? Because my life in Indonesia was pretty busy. It's busy as in like busy, hectic, working, playing. When I got here, it's the totally brand new lifestyle. And I couldn't find a job. My goal was come to Sydney, to Australia, find a job, start working, whatever that is. Couldn't find it for the first 2 months. And I've got this one story that I keep telling because this is like my bouncing like realization moment is sending in my applications, lodging everything in, phone interviews. One of the guys said on the phone saying that, hey, your English is not good enough, mate, and then hung up. I was like, fuck. Is it really? I thought I can speak English. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do whatever it takes for me to learn English. So I started paying attention to radio. Like back then, there's McManus. Yeah. And then Colin Jackie, all those, radios that's sort of informal, so that I can learn how to speak, how to communicate, how to interact, and also the formal side of it, reading, and then got my dictionary ready. So when I come across a word that I don't understand, I would just like flick through the dictionary. Okay, this is the context. This is the concept.
And for people out there, this is before Duolingo. This is before any of that sort of stuff. Yes. And I was like you. You have to read out loud and enunciate it, and because you need to
think in English.
Think in English,
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then obviously you did all your revision, and you did your practicing, and then it flips, doesn't it? Your brain goes from thinking in Indonesian or Spanish for me to thinking in English as your native. It's really crazy how that happens.
It is.
And so okay, so then you got your sort of communication skill.
Yeah.
And then you're empowered. So what was the first job that you managed to get?
My first job, that was what do you call it? Waiters in a restaurant.
Okay. So hospitality is probably the most common role, for anyone sort of arriving in Australia.
Yes.
And so obviously that gives you a different type of skill.
I only worked there for 3 days.
Understandably, I would work 0 days, but that's just me. Okay. But and then that was the thing that like, this is not for me.
That was the thing that, because logistically that was a bit hard. That job that I got, I live in southwest Sydney, and the restaurant only opened very late for dinner and then closed at very late as well. So I finished at work at 11. I reached home at 2:30 a.m. So because of the no train and the bus and then all that, I was like, okay, I can't do it every single day. Then someone from that job referred me to work in a butcher shop in Kingsford.
Okay.
And then that butcher shop opens at 7, so I had to leave home at 4:30 a.m. and it didn't shut until 6 or 7 p.m. at night. So it's like a long day. There's no opportunity for me to do something else outside that work at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, if I keep doing this, I will not have any opportunity to grow myself. So this is not for me. I got to give up the job, but I got to learn something else. Yeah,
and because obviously then you start realizing how precious time is.
Yes.
As a kid, you almost think you got endless amount of time.
Yes.
But then you grow up and you're at this position now where it's like, I'm running out of time. Not that you really are, but you think like, I need to do something quick.
Yeah.
And for me, I was lucky. Unlike you, young, I did like a summer work at my parents' factory, and I realized that I never wanted to work in a factory ever again, and I need to do something.
At least you tried.
At least I tried, right?
Yeah.
Good money for a kid, but obviously not my forte.
Yeah.
And so then, when did photography or the love of photography sort of strike you?
I think at that time I realized that, by the way, after I did a butcher, I quit the butcher, I started to go to the English classes. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time trying to apply for a day job. But I remember when I was in Indonesia, I did learn photography. I never took it as in like shoot on my own.
Yeah.
I always shoot overshadowing someone else's. Mm-hmm. Then I was like, okay, maybe I'm just going to push it forward. And then I started to say, hey, like open it up to the mates, saying that I am a photographer. I know how to do photography. If you know anyone getting married, then let me know.
Yeah.
That's how I scored my first client. That was on the 9th of December, 2005, Swiss Hotel in Sydney.
All right, let me ask you. I've got to pause you there.
Yeah.
You must have been nervous as hell.
Oh, hell yeah. I dropped my camera During the ceremony, my camera just like fell off.
I remember the first time I've done anything
Yeah.
that required like that point in time,
Yeah.
and let's call it excellence. You have to be really good to get
Yeah.
to do it again, or to
Yes.
get invited to do it again, right? But I'm guessing like you had your you had your kit.
Yeah.
How before we continue with your story,
Yeah.
you know, obviously you had to prep, right?
Yes.
Where did that come from? What do I need to take with me? Because I think a lot of people would struggle with that the first time.
Yes. Well, look, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me at the time. I only know that I got to rock up with 2 cameras, that's all. And then 2 lenses. And I was having one Nikon F75, which is film camera.
Yeah.
And the other one that I bought only because of that wedding, which is D70S crop sensor Nikon. Kit lens.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Mm-hmm.
I only brought those 2 cameras with 2 lenses.
And were they ProLED, like a big apertures, or were they just sort of like whatever you could get your hands on?
I can't remember exactly. I think that's probably like equal to 1855, 3.5 to 5.6.
Yeah.
Like a kit lens.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Yeah. And obviously that makes the job so much harder because you don't have that beautiful bokeh. You don't have like...
I didn't know about that at the time.
At the time? Okay, I'm jumping ahead.
No, that's probably a good thing though.
Yeah, yeah. And so you get there.
Yeah.
You got your kit. You got your cameras hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, and then have you... What was your wedding experience like? Like, did you kind of get the gist of what happens when? Because that's another factor, right?
Yeah,
From a
yeah.
wedding photographer.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I was the reason why I jumped into photography and a wedding was because of the financial pressure. Probably like 20% passion, like 80% financial pressure.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know all those technicalities about the aperture and then bokeh and then prime lenses, that sort of stuff. Right. But after that, I got referred to another job from that client. So that client is like friends of a friend, and then she's part of that big families, and then I ended up taking photos of a couple of family members of their weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that sort of started
from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going back to the first one, so what was your feeling at the end of the shoot? I mean, how describe that?
I guess probably confused, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Where did that confusion come from?
Because honestly, I didn't know what to expect to shoot wedding in Australia. I didn't have friends who shot wedding in Australia back then. So my point of reference is only what I've done in Indonesia, which is not much. And based on the information that the bride and groom provided me. So I had no idea the prompt for whatever the questions, like what's your family dynamics like, is there anything that I need to be aware of, I didn't have any ideas to approach that.
And I'm sure there's a story about that too, right? Because who asked, what are your family dynamics?
Yeah.
So I'll come back to that one. And so you probably confusion, but I guess elation that you pulled it off.
Yes, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm one of the guys that still try to push my boundaries. I think we all need to have that sort of mindset.
Yeah.
To where we need to go. So that's basically what happened. I was nervous, but at the end of the day, I was confused. Didn't know how to approach that, and there's a couple of revisions after that. Yeah.
And then you got your second gig, obviously through referrals.
Yeah.
When did you realize this was going to be a thing? This was going to be your thing?
I think probably around 2009, about 4 years in. So after I got that first wedding, I didn't jump in and do that full time. I got accepted to work in a call center. I mean, I was thinking ironically because I couldn't speak English.
Yeah.
But I got
The
a
call
job in
center.
a call center.
Hey, that doesn't stop them now either.
Yeah. So I think up to 2009, I was like, I actually enjoy it, making art and then dealing with people. And that's how I go, okay, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And so, and then obviously then you start putting together your kit, because it starts becoming an art form, right?
Yes.
So you start with whatever is available to you and whatever lenses.
Yes.
When did that love of the end result start kicking in, and what was that journey like? Because obviously, you know, the discovery is half the fun.
Yes. I think as far as the discovery and the journey, I'm still in my own journey right now. You know, I feel like there's always changes that we probably all have the same thing, that we tweak along the way. Even with prime lenses, I didn't start to use prime lenses until about probably 6 years ago, as in like actively only prime. Before that, I was just thinking about the focal length. I got 24-70, 70-200, that's enough. I got 40-24, maybe if you want the ultra wide end. And I also, I always under the impression that 35 mil on a prime and then 35 mil on a 24-70, the same. I always had that impression, but they're not.
Yes.
They're not the same. They're different feel.
And the manufacturers, in your case Nikon, I mean, it's that love in the lenses and what they can do as a prime or as a zoom. You know, zoom's obviously that flexibility. Yeah. You don't have to, if you're traveling, you don't have to carry lots of lenses with you. But when you use a good prime and you see those results, you understand where the love is for that.
Exactly. I think when it comes down to that as well, I got to say I am very lucky and privileged to be able, whether to afford or know someone, I've got access to those lenses, whether that's through friends or one way or another, right? That's how I get to know the differences. And there are people out there that didn't have that luxury of tap in or got access to those equipment, so they don't know what they don't know. And they're probably trapped under the same mindset that I used to. 35 mil on a prime and on a zoom are the same. They're not.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you started. Did you start collecting like cameras, for example, bodies? I mean, and what was the thing that you were looking in a body that would facilitate your work?
I think at the time I was transitioning from the crop sensor DSLR to eventually the full frame DSLR. As far as the collecting, I didn't feel like I'm actually collecting bodies, although they do pile up along with the upgrades. But the intention was not to collect. That's basically to upgrades. Yeah.
And then you developed that, I guess, portfolio of equipment that then you used on your everyday. It became everyday carry, right? Yeah. And so then you can hone in your art. When you know the equipment, just like anyone else, whatever trade, when you know your equipment, then you know how to get the best out of it.
Correct. Yes.
And was there a time where you felt that the equipment wasn't doing it for you because it was more of an art than the equipment?
It was, but I think that feeling, definitely I had that. But I got to be honest, now that I realize that's not because of the equipment. That's about us.
Yes.
Right? Photography is the extension of how we see the world, how we see things, in combination of what equipments that you think is right for to bring what we see to life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're right, because I always, obviously being, in the YouTube environment.
YouTube University.
And YouTube U, and but then also being part of that sort of community. Yeah. One of the things that you hear time and time again is that you can start with any device or whatever.
Correct.
Because in the end, it comes down to your vision and what it is that you're trying to reflect through the images, right?
Yep.
One of the very first YouTubers that I was influenced by was a guy called Casey Neistat.
Right.
And you know who he is. So he's a New Yorker.
Yes, everyone knows Casey.
He was probably one of the first guys in the videography, photography space to hit 10 million.
Yes.
He was pretty big, in his heyday, right?
Yep.
And he was the guy that started in these tiny little
Yes.
cameras that you just bought for like
Yep.
a couple $100, and
Yes.
and that's how he and his brother made his movies. And to me, it was like, I'm glad that I watched him first, because for me it was never about the kit. Although after a little while you start realizing
Yep.
where the investment is,
Correct.
but it's that vision of
And the storytelling.
and the storytelling.
Correct.
You're right.
And it's funny, Casey and I started as well. I think it's good that Casey actually put himself out there, because I was always under the impression that you gotta be good looking.
Yes.
You know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we touched upon this.
Yeah. And when I saw this YouTuber, which is Casey and I started at the time, first time I saw him was through the Peter McKinnon's YouTube.
Yep.
Like, who's this guy? He's like, he doesn't have that what they call golden ratio, but he's very confident. He's very like energetic, and he actually delivers.
Oh yeah.
And I looked him up. I was like, whoa, he's big.
Yeah. But it's really funny, because I knew Casey, and then I met, or I was introduced to Peter McKinnon
Gotcha.
through
Okay.
Casey.
I see.
Right?
I see.
And so for me, it was like, okay, and it's funny on the YouTube world when your worlds collide.
Yes.
When you're watching one influencer and one creator, and then you're
Yep.
watching another creator, and all of a sudden they do a collab, and it's like,
Yeah.
like your mind explodes. And I always love that experience.
Yes. Yes.
So for me, like, the whole kit aspect of it was always secondary, because I always wanted to sort of come up with something that would be a storytelling, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
what is my story?
Always number one.
I'm still trying to figure out what my story is, which makes it half the fun, because all that trial and error. But then now all of a sudden now you have a career in photography.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
Grateful.
And could I still say that wedding photography is still your primary?
Yes, I would say. Actually, I think as of this year, probably that's no longer the primary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of transitioned into the education space
Yep.
since I'm onboarded with Nikon Australia.
Yes.
So I do a lot of teaching workshops, Milky Ways as well.
I was in one of your workshops, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
because that's where we met, right?
Exactly.
Through Nikon.
Exactly.
And so that's great, because you honed your skills.
Yeah.
You do it under pressure. And I've
Yeah.
got to say, weddings are pressure.
Yes.
I got married once, and I think that's the only time. I don't know, these people that get married twice, 3 times, I don't know, they're crazy. But being on the other side, like as a photographer for the wedding,
Yes.
capturing those very unique, but at the same time precious moments.
Yes. Yes.
And I have seen some of your wedding photography on your website, so check it out. If like, I'll put the link in the description of the podcast and all that sort of stuff. But it's that art, but capturing that moment in those weddings that put you in the pressure, because it is a moment.
It is a moment.
You can't
Yes.
say, oh, wait till the golden hour comes back
Yeah.
tomorrow and let's do it
Yeah.
all again,
Nah.
right?
Nah.
And so and so for me, you've honed those skills because you're doing it in the field,
Yeah.
and now you've transitioned into teaching it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
Yes.
I think the whole aspect of nurturing other people to follow on the footsteps of something you love. I mean, obviously you try to do that with your kids, but it doesn't work out most of the time.
Yes.
But for someone that's really attentive and wants to do it, I think it's an amazing opportunity. I think that's probably where I want to end up as well, like
Nice.
Teaching
Do it.
as well. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And for me, the whole start of my YouTube channel, sort of showing people how I make mistakes, and as I'm
Yes.
learning through the process.
Yes, because we all do.
Yeah, and but
mistake.
telling people, hey, by the way, I did that and it didn't work. Maybe you should
Yeah.
do it that way. I
Yeah.
think that's also good.
Yes,
good
keep
content.
it real.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep it relevant.
And so, tell me a little bit about it. For people, obviously, the nirvana would be to be an ambassador like you for a very successful global brand, right? Like it is Nikon. How does that eventuate? How does that happen?
That's interesting, actually, because I don't know. I actually don't know how Nikon found me, but I consider that as the COVID blessing.
Okay.
Because at the time, that's world shut down, everyone's at home. And then someone reached out to me based on my photo of a shot on a macro lens, a Lego. And I created something looks like Antelope Canyon using the brown bag kind of thing. And just spread the red sand that I collected on my road trip. And I put the Lego toys in it and the Lego holding a camera. And I posted on Instagram. And at the time, my followers only like less than 2,000. So I wasn't even big, right? And then someone reached out to me on DM on Insta saying that, hey, G, what cameras do you use? I got messages like that. And I always respond because people ask me for recommendations, that sort of stuff. So I said I used the Nikon Z6 and the Nikon D750 back then. And then that girl came back to me again saying that, I actually want to get camera. So do you have any recommendations? And basically back and forth with that conversation. And then at one point, she goes, sorry, I didn't tell you earlier, but I'm actually from Nikon Australia.
Good answer.
So you got to respond to all the DM that's coming your way. People ask you questions, be kind, respond to them, provide value. Anyway, but the first thing that came across my mind was, is it a scam?
Oh, of course.
Because that person also asked me for my email and then the telephone number and asked if I can actually jump on the phone to discuss something further. I was like, okay, what's the worst that can happen, right? Maybe my details get hijacked, but I just be very careful when someone sent me links and all that in case you sent me links. But I provided those to her. And then we ended up jumping on the phone. And then she was actually from Nikon Australia.
It's like, no, I don't want to talk to you. But then you realize, I got stung, and I can understand that. I got stung on Facebook. I was trying to buy a lens. And so it's like, oh my God, it was $300. And it was like, okay, see you later.
Damn.
So yeah,
that happens.
But it is a modern world problem, right? So
yeah.
And so all of a sudden you get a call from Nikon, and what was the first thing that they wanted to talk to you about?
Yeah, at the time, it's not really going into being sponsored and all that, you know, obviously. But at the time, the new Nikon Z5 was about to be released. So they go, we got a new camera, it's about to be released, and you're going to be one of the first persons to get a hands on it. We want you to just make content like an Instagram story or post, or they didn't say anything about YouTube. So they just want me to do a bit of a review. I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So
I took it, and I thought, I've got these opportunities to make content and post on Instagram. I might as well make something on YouTube, see if I can actually attract them and get them the attentions, provide values, basically.
Correct.
Right? And then I did a YouTube video out of that. And then after that, there's another opportunity that's coming up. They go, hey, G, we having an online event. We would love you to be one of the speakers online on our YouTube channel. It's still on the Nikon Australia YouTube channel. But I was very awkward back then.
Yeah, because obviously it's a new format. I was the same when I started my videos. It's like you try to emulate people you've seen online, and you sort of, that's not me. That's so cringy.
Plus, I didn't know how to deal with a big brand.
Right? Yeah, because it is a corporate environment, right?
Exactly.
And unless you've worked in, like I've been lucky enough to work in a lot of corporate environments, so you know what to expect, right? Like you had to dress or what to say, what not to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But you
Can I swear or maybe not?
Coming in like off the street,
and
then all of a sudden it's like, okay,
sit there, we'll film you.
Yeah, that's right. and don't swear. And so they created some content. So you talked about, obviously your art, and then it takes off from there.
So correct, yeah. So that video basically talking about the Nikon Z cameras and all that, and how we approach the content creation. There was me and then Christina Mendoza, one of the Nikon creators back then. Yeah, three of us. So after that opportunities, then I've got another email coming from Nikon saying that, hey, we actually want to make it official with you. if you're interested. And it's basically started from there.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, that is the nirvana for everyone. But your story is different. It's actually upside down, because normally people start creating content.
Yeah.
And then they wish that it sort of happens.
Yeah, actually, I did start create content from years ago, because I started my YouTube from 2018, right? And then at the time, there's one video that I showed how I shot these photos, with me and my daughter using the fairy lights and all that. And there's one point there I said, "Hey, Nikon, you better sponsor me." I still have that. I don't know whether that's what they saw.
Projected. It's wishful thinking that you projected, and then all of a sudden it came true.
Yes.
Yeah, we should all do that.
Yeah, we should all do that. I think if there's any lessons, takeaways, one of them is this: like, you just approach your brand. You just don't know where it's going to take you. Put yourself out there, right?
You're right. I have the same advice with my son. He's a DJ, right? And I said, well, have you pinged Piney? I mean, they have influences, and you're at the height of your game, and this is when they would want to approach you.
Correct.
But that's a really good segue, into the whole management of your business now, because now it's turned into your livelihood.
Yeah.
And you are now doing what you love, and it blossomed into a love, right?
100%,
right?
Yeah.
And it gets you, out. You travel. You wear whatever you like, and you are flamboyant. I saw you at that photo shoot when you did the thing, and I said, "This guy is cool." Definitely a lot of colors. I love that. But obviously, that's your background, because you're from Indonesia, and obviously the way. Is that what you...
No, not really. I think a lot of people from Indonesia, they're actually more on the conservative side, to be honest. Yeah.
All right.
I think the mindset behind me appearing like that, wearing whatever that I want, is we're going to die. Just live it up every day.
That's right. I feel, I have the same sentiment. Is like living the today. Yeah. Because, we all die. Yeah. Some happen to go sooner than others. Yeah. So focus on now and enjoy.
Not to make this podcast a bit too grimy.
But you're right. And for me, that's a plus.
Yeah.
It's a plus to think about your life today and what you've done. And have you done something productive? Have you learned something today?
Exactly.
And that's, to me, I think that's the advice I've got a long time ago, when someone said, if you haven't learned something new today, you're not living. And I thought, I'm going to take that away and use it forever.
Yeah, that's how you get better.
Exactly, because you're always learning, right? Yeah. And so now you've got this business that you love, and you need to continue going, right?
Correct.
And then how does, what facilitates you? Because obviously, unlike other businesses where if you get big, you hire more people, right?
Yeah.
Your business is you, and your art.
Yes.
Now, how do you manage that? How do you manage a week in G's life?
That's a big question.
Yeah, no, it is. So let's break it down to last week.
Yes. Okay. Well, my daily, basically wake up, drop my kids at school, and then started checking email, coffee, whatever, journaling, if anything, right? Get the mindset right. And if I don't have any shoot, then I would just go back to my list of the contents that I want to create, right? And if I got shoot, then I do the shoot.
Yeah.
Right? Because ultimately what I want to happen, right now I do a lot of freelancing and also my own client stuff and also Nikon stuff, the teaching stuff. Ultimately, what I want to do is also to add another income stream, which is the online course environment. And of course, everyone's doing online course. There's nothing wrong with that. People say it's competition, but you are different because you are you.
Exactly.
Right? And I'm very passionate in the astrophotography space, so that's what I'm gonna do basically. Yeah. So all my contents that I create right now will be anything around educational or astrophotography stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you primarily work through email. That's your primary source of leads and things like that, right?
Emails, website.
Website.
Yeah, which is my
And
website.
and then how much is social media sort of also helping in that, or is it still just a side thing that helps your like your online?
I think
image?
it's hard to measure, from social medias. I don't think we can measure the conversion rate from social media as how much it impacts your business.
I can show you how.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Because the way, I will learn from you. The way I look at it is the social media is the extension of yourself. That is one of the contact points that people get to know you.
Yeah.
I can't measure the conversion, but that's basically you trying to attract people to inquire, whether that's through DM or through the website.
Yes.
Right.
And so when you sort of triaging, let's call that, your emails, you'll get some that are like, hey, potentially, like a job.
Yeah.
And then you sort of carve out your week.
Yeah.
Depending on, those jobs.
Yeah.
But then you get to travel. I mean, you're going to Brisbane tomorrow?
Yeah, I got a shoot in Brisbane tomorrow.
And so obviously that takes a chunk of your of your time.
Yes.
And so that needs to be factored in as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
How far ahead do you plan your calendar?
I would love to plan it at least 6 months ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to, but because I do freelance, sometimes the jobs just come in last minute.
Yeah.
So I just have to mold my routine around that. Like this Brisbane job, it didn't come to me until last 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you have to sort of make sure your schedule's there.
Yeah.
Do you have to reshuffle things? Like, for example, your own personal content creation?
Yes.
Like that takes a side line?
If there's nothing on that day, then it's easy. But if there's something on that day, then I will either say no to that job or I have to reshuffle things.
Yeah.
Yeah, the family stuff as well.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not forget that we do have a life, right?
Exactly.
And that it's not just about work. We were talking about earlier about work-life balance, which I like to call work-life blend.
Yeah.
Because it should all mix it. And I think it makes a big difference when what you do and you love it.
Yes.
Because it's all a love.
It's like work.
Yeah.
life, work.
Yeah. But when you, like, for example, when my kids were little and the phone would ring after hours, then you straight away that was Dad's phone. So, like, you go quiet, don't make noise.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, that's just a very basic example of how, eventually, like, your life works out.
Yes.
This is what Dad does.
Yeah.
And this is how Dad provides.
Yeah.
And when they get older and they understand that.
Yes.
But then at that time, though, they don't realize how cool it is.
Yes.
And then maybe one day they'll say, I want to do what Dad does,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I kind of have that realization now as well, even though, because my kids now are on the teenagers years.
Yeah.
So probably a bit rebellious and all that. It was just like teenager stuff. But I think they eventually will realize that, I probably want to do what dads do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or a hobby or something, because I always feel that there needs to be a balance, right? Our modern culture, especially in Australia and other sort of Western countries, is all about digital and consuming digital media, right?
Yes.
But for me, I think we have to force ourselves to do something that is creative, and that requires you to do something away from a screen.
Yes, and uncomfortable.
Yeah, and challenges.
And
you.
challenges,
Yeah. Whether it's physical or whether it's, putting yourself out there, like in front of people.
Yeah.
Because as an ambassador for like Nikon, you also had to put yourself out there because you have to talk to people you never met before.
Exactly.
And people are funny, right? Like you get a batch of people and you don't know who's going to be the, like the bad batch or the good batch.
But I think it has to be, the mindset has to be flipped. It's not that after you get an opportunities that you then put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there first, not knowing whether there's going to be opportunities or not. But I can guarantee, I can promise, if you put yourself out there and you give value, you will make progress.
Yeah.
People will reach out.
Yes, and because obviously with all the experience that they learned that you have, makes it so much more attractive to find you, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's on your website or whether it's social media, or or even word of mouth. You
Yeah.
know, it just
Yeah.
becomes an ongoing
Yes.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So I want to come back to the sort of wedding thing, because you do, so obviously there must be some rules about dealing with people and family dynamics.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I want
okay,
you to sort of tell me a little bit about that, because obviously every family is different, right?
100%. Yes.
I know, for example, when I was a young father and I had my kids, I would take pictures of all the kids wherever they were.
Okay.
And sometimes they'd like roll their eyes when they weren't in the mood or whatever, but most of the pictures were okay.
Yeah.
But as they get older, or then all of a sudden you have these rules that you have to follow. You can only photograph me like this, or
I see,
this
yeah.
is. But
It's like,
does that come up in wedding photography?
it does come up.
Yeah.
It does come up. The most common for women is like, it's too big, and but it also gives, that's a learning ground, right? So, excuse me. So, whenever you come across challenges like that, this is also another takeaway, I hope, is don't shy away and then don't complain. Don't complain saying that, oh, my client's like X, Y, Z, therefore the photos doesn't turn out great. But take it as a learning and then think about how I can troubleshoot that. When I say troubleshoot, it's not necessarily means that how I take the photos, what photos to take, what to poses. It's a bit of everything. It's even from the very first contact point when you talk to your client.
Yes.
Because if you can put your client at ease, put them, make them feel comfortable from the very beginning, they're going to trust you a lot more. Which lead to when you're doing the shoot, they're also going to trust you, and they're also going to follow your directions.
Yes.
As well.
And because they do have to trust that you're in their hands.
Yes.
And their image that you're
Yes.
capturing
Yes.
is going to be the most flattering one that they would feel.
Yes,
should
absolutely, absolutely. Of course, there's a way that you got to use the certain lens, like more compressed lens, rather than a wide lens coming closer. It's going to make the distortion is going to make the person look a bit more.
With the size of my head, that's the last thing I want.
Yeah, exactly. Don't stay in the corner on the wide lens. Yeah.
You come out with that wide sort of like look.
Exactly. But clients don't know that.
Yes.
Right. So that's you stepping in with your expertise, doing things like that. But I think all of those managing the client's expectation like that, whether that's a body image or whatever that might be, that also I'm going to take a couple of steps back to the putting yourself out there thing. Because when you put yourself out there, you show your work, you show your style, you show yourself, how you carry yourself, how you talk. That's going to resonate a lot better with the clients that approach you, which also means that the clients that's coming back to you, they already know how you work, how you talk. And you're going to have less clients that's going to say, I don't like these photos that you took. I want something on my own. Because they're already accustomed to how you work.
Oh, okay. So they already have this preconception of what you can do.
Correct.
And I want one of those.
Correct.
Just like that.
Correct. So they're already like 80% wanting you. Rather than reaching out to you because of you have a good price or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and that's a good point that I hadn't considered, because the portfolio sort of, puts you in a position where they know what to expect.
Yes.
And if they like what they see, they would want to be in that image as well.
Yes, yes.
And that's kind of cool. And I guess this is why some photographers sort of tend to do a lot more of the things that they look for, like if you're portrait or if you're landscape or
yes,
and people sort of would lean towards that because that's where they find beauty in, like
yes.
And
also, I think don't only show the portfolios of your clients who are slim.
Okay. Yes.
The plus size clients, put it out there. I know that there's a lot of photographers of my friends only put portfolios that if the clients look like model, but not everyone look like that.
That's right. You want to appeal to the masses.
To the masses, correct.
Yeah. And look, I for me, there's advertising and there's advertising, right? You can't put yourself out there like, look at me, I do these very beautiful like model type of shooting and stuff like that. But in reality, we all want to be models.
Yes, we want to look good.
We all want to look good.
Yeah.
We all want to sort of have that moment in time
Yeah.
where we captured, like in ye old gone by days, it was like the painting that would take months and weeks to actually, to do. But now photography is so much more in the moment.
Yes. Yes.
But even then, you can have terrible shots.
Yes.
That's great. So look, what I wanted to sort of talk a little bit about is your new venture, which is astrophotography.
Yeah.
So
Love
I've played with time lapse.
Okay,
I went
cool.
through a journey where like I needed to.
Nice.
It's only because my son did a HSC art, and so that we wanted to do something. We wanted to do like a Holy Grail one.
Oh yes,
so
that's challenging, that one. Yeah.
And so his was a photo of him, you silhouette across the city.
Yeah.
But on one side of the picture was like light, and then the other side
Gradually
of the picture was night.
going darker.
And, and obviously it wasn't my project.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to help because I was really getting buzzed. So I did a big deep dive.
You felt challenged.
Felt challenged because it was like, hey, let's use this to its best. And so I definitely enjoyed that process of learning, because that's how you learn in photography, right? By doing, right?
100%.
And not like the old days in film where you just waste so much money, like because now digital is amazing, right? Like we can make those mistakes and they're really not as costly as they used to be. But with Astral, right? We've got this environment. First of all, you're in the middle of nowhere because there's no light pollution, right?
Yes, you got to go away from the city.
But you also want a kind of cool foreground that's going to be silhouetted to the side, because I'm sort of picturing things that I've seen.
Correct.
But then you need good weather.
Yes. Oh, weather.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the last thing that I'm thinking about is that you need to pick the right
The
moon
phase. Yes.
But then you got to point it, because if you want the Milky Way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell me how you sort of gone from obviously wedding photography, and then all of a sudden it's like, this is on the opposite side of photography.
The other side of the spectrum.
To the spectrum, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I love to be outdoors, right? That's one thing. But the other thing as well is there's not many astrophotographers out there. So that's what challenged me as well. Plus, it's beautiful out there, at night. You're on your own. Sometimes it feels a bit scary, but most of the time it is very peaceful, right? So that's why I love it. But with the Astro, there's a lot of plannings involved. Planning is 100% needs to be done. You need to know where you're going. You need to look at the light pollution. You need to obviously know which direction you're shooting and what's a foreground. Obviously, you can always composite images with Photoshop and all that, but I don't really do that. I do it not as heavy, and the right timing.
Yeah. And sometimes too, you the subject itself needs to be selected, right? So one day could be a part of the galaxy, or a combination of that beautiful sort of like galaxy background, but then a foreground as well.
The foreground, correct.
Yeah.
And
there is a technique that I've noticed that if you sort of light the foreground, it sort of pops. So you don't get this black silhouette, you get this.
Yeah.
So you also have to learn how to do that, right?
Correct, yes. There's two ways of doing that. I don't want to turn it into like a workshop kind of thing, but just briefly, there's two ways to do it. First way is you can obviously light paint using whatever the light source that you have. It can be like very dim torch. Or the second option, which I prefer, is to composite the image, the foreground, the background, the sky, but you shoot the foreground when there's moon, before the moon sets. So you, pick the day, or pick the night where the moon's about to set. It's not too bright, but it's bright enough for the foreground. You shoot that, keep the camera still, and once the moon's gone, you take another photos.
Yeah, because you want that natural transition between the foreground. You don't want harsh light.
You don't want harsh lights. Plus, it's even, right? When there's moonlight, then there's a vast landscape. it's just lit evenly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of the workflow is then digital? How, do you have to like work it
Like the editing?
Yeah. Do you have to be like a Photoshop guru?
No, you don't have to. I think it depends on how much details or how deep you want to go. You can. There's a couple of steps. Like the first step is just Lightroom, masking sky, masking foreground, do the editings, and that's done. If you're happy with that, most people are happy with that. Then that's it. I do the Photoshop as well. After I do that, I bring it to the Photoshop, and then just separate the sky and the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I can have a bit more dimmer stars, and then more gases showing of the Milky Way. That's kind of my style.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's switch over to some of the logistics, right? So how long do you have to be out in the nighttime?
I think it depends on what you want to capture, really. Astrophotography is one of the genre that you need to know what you want to capture first. Then you shoot, and accordingly, logistically, time as well. So you can be there half an hour and you can get the shot, no problem. But if you want to make time lapse, obviously, you need at least 2 hours, at least. If you and even 2 hours, not really a good time lapse. The stars don't move much.
That's
during
fast,
2 hours.
exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time lapses I would do would be in winter because it's the set's faster, right? It's like
Correct.
a shorter transition between day and night. But even then, you have to start shooting long before the setting starts, and then shoot a long while after, so you get that full transition.
If you want to do a holy grail, yes. But that's a challenging part of it.
Some cameras I know at the time I think I used Lumix. It had a really good sort of sensor that allowed for that. And so, but that was innate in that body that it allowed you to do that. While other cameras don't offer that, and so it just made it so much more difficult because like the sort of shutter speeds, were always working against you, and obviously then you get the noise because the ISO. Oh my lord! For a HSC project, I did a lot of work on that one, and it wasn't even my HSC project.
You just enjoy it.
I just enjoyed it so much. And so, how often are you doing the Astro stuff now?
Whenever I can. I'm planning to go out tomorrow night, Sunday night actually, or even Monday night.
And whereabouts in Australia are you going to be doing that?
I'm probably going to go to Blue Mountains in the Lincoln's Rock, facing west, because at this time of the year, this is September, when the night comes, the Milky Ways appear. It's already above our head, right? So that the month of the year also makes a difference. So I'm just going to wait until the Milky Way sets a little bit, which is on the western sky, which also means that I got to find somewhere that shoots western, which is the ideal sunset location. Yeah.
And so so you mentioned too so the time of the year, because obviously the shifts and sometimes the sky isn't that amazing like it is at this time of year. Is this the sort of the best time of the year in Australia?
The best months I would say is look. Every night, the Milky Way is always there, right? But when I say the best time, it just means that when the Milky Way core actually visible during the dark times of the day.
Yeah.
And that's going to be between February to about end of October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because that's warm nights. Imagine having to do that in winter.
Yeah. But it's tricky in February because the Milky Way core is going to appear only visible right before the sunrise. So it's probably appearing like 3 a.m. and then by 5 a.m. it's starting to lit up.
Yeah, and so you have to be really conscious of that, obviously. Correct. Because the minute the sun rises, obviously you lose that.
It's game over.
Yeah, it's game over.
Yeah.
And there's a whole night worth of sleeplessness you have to catch up on.
Yeah.
It is great, and I do agree with you that the getting out there is the beautiful part. There's a couple of photographers that I think they work primarily out of Canada, on the West Coast.
Okay.
And there's beautiful landscape there. You know, yeah, obviously I follow them on YouTube, and they do, you know, great work because obviously they do a lot more of the landscape stuff.
Yep.
But that landscape mixed with astro, you know, sometimes you get some glorious shots.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
And obviously once you sort of get your shot, how do you, I mean, what's the best way to show them off? I mean, do you think on a website does justice, or do you print them?
No, I think prints probably
Yeah.
does justice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Website, let alone Instagram on it, Lil.
I know, it's like you just a blur of nothing.
Yeah.
It's funny how we reduce ourselves to that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Also, you mentioned Canada. You know, it's something that not many people know. So we live in Australia, Southern Hemisphere. We are free. Like, we got so much stars and then Milky Way opportunities throughout the year. Because people up north, especially like in Canada and even northern part from there, they don't see much Milky Ways.
Because it's not below the horizon for
It's
them.
below the horizon for them, yes.
Oh, wow.
That's why you never see the Northern Lights with the Milky Way core combined.
Ah.
It's not logistically possible. It's not.
So if you do see it, it's fake.
It's fake. It's AI. Likely. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, of course. Oh, that's so sad for them.
It's
but I mean,
sad for them.
Yeah, but they obviously they've got the Northern Lights.
But we
during
got a
the summer.
Southern Lights.
Yeah, we got Southern Lights.
Not
too.
as often as them.
Yeah.
But when it happens and it aligns with the Milky Way, you got that.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's true. I guess that would be the holy grail of
I reckon.
astro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon.
So, but that would be tricky because obviously the Northern Lights themselves are a lot of light pollution. You know.
Yes.
So trying to get that blend would be
Correct.
Yeah.
I remember on the 11th of May 2024 when that big aurora happened, right? I flew to Tasmania on that day,
Yeah.
just like deliberately unplanned, just to chase that Milky Way.
And how to go?
Yeah, it worked out great. I'm glad I actually flew. But as you said, the aurora was so strong that the Milky Way got washed out.
Mm.
I got that still in a photo.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. And because I must admit, it's like having the ability to sort of look at those, especially those astro events, right?
Yeah.
And did you get any, the last blood moon? Did you try attempt to do that?
I did go to Stockton St. John's for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we stayed overnight there.
Yeah.
Just to get, it didn't turn out the way that I wanted, you know, as always you plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the moon's tricky, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
it's bouncing so much light that
Yes.
you have to plan it well.
Yes, the shooting moon's always tricky, but when it turns to the blood moon, that's actually the darkest, darkest part of the darkest moment of that moon. So that was actually pretty dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shot ISO 3200, f2.8, and 1 second.
1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't go more than 1 second because
You get blur.
exactly
Yeah.
it moves.
The other day I saw a really good shot. It was a moon rise. Now, please, I don't know whether this is AI or not,
Yes.
but obviously because of the magnification when it's at the horizon,
Yes.
and it was
Yes.
moon rise with the city behind it.
Was it Matt's?
I think
Matt's?
so.
Yeah.
And
That's real.
And that's gorgeous.
That's real. Because you can align the moon. The moon looks a lot bigger when it just rises. Just that.
Yeah.
And you shoot with a long lens from a location that is furthest that you can go away from the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
Not from the moon, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, from the foreground. Then with a compression,
Yeah.
it makes the moon looks big.
Oh, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I was really surprised of how much detail was captured.
Yeah, that was
in it.
amazing.
Yeah, it was a great
it's
shot.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? I got to do a plug for you and your Instagram, right? Because it's through being connected with you on Instagram that the algorithm starts feeding me other photographers and other stuff. And obviously when you I see that.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to sort of, find out who our talent is
Yes.
local.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Well, we were at Frame Fest
Yes.
early this year. It was
Yeah.
great that happened
Yeah,
because it
awesome
was
event.
long overdue. You know, like hadn't
Yes,
hadn't
exactly.
seen one
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
And we did get to like meet some influencers.
Yes.
You know, I saw Jason from up in Queensland.
Yes.
I
yes.
follow him
So
on,
good.
yeah. Julia as well.
Yeah, Julia Trotty. Yeah.
And, you know, it was great to say hello to them and
Yes.
meet them face to face.
Yes.
And look, the people at Framefest, please do it again because, you know, I think it's
I agree.
being
Do
the
it again.
first one. I call it a success, being the first one.
Yeah.
I think the second one with the same amount of energy should be even better. But the great thing about it is that you cannot search for Australian content creators on YouTube. You can't say, give me a list of who these
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
You
that's
have
right.
to find them accidentally. And it's usually the
Yeah.
accent that, follow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, when I find a creator, it's almost like like a little collection. Oh my God, I found another one. You know, and through this journey, now that I've started my podcast again, I
Yeah.
think this is going to be the either word of mouth.
yeah.
And so, like, please keep on
Yeah, yeah.
liking other people's content because that's how we find people.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Get them on your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
absolutely. Everyone's got a story, right?
Yes, 100%.
And we all want to tell a
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Now, before we finish up, what I wanted to just sort of ask you is just a private thing, right? It's about your perspective to life and about what keeps you grounded and keeps people coming to you for what it is that you do. What is it that you live by
Yeah.
that helps?
It's a deep question.
Yeah,
but
it
I'm happy
is.
to answer it.
Yeah, great. I'm glad because I
Yeah.
think it's a good way to end.
Yes, yes. I think, like for me personally, my big goal, my ultimate big goal is to make this world a better place. You know, and people can do it through different forms, right? Me, I'm doing it through photography, and then I share my wisdoms through photography, because there's so much atrocities happening in this world, as you know.
We all know.
Yeah. And how I've been brought up as well, you know, with bullies and all that. And I felt powerless. Now I'm in this position that I feel a lot more privileged than how I used to. And that's why I have so much gratitude. And like every day I wake up, if I don't die, if not of my loved ones, died or sick, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my ultimate goal.
Nice. And you know, that's a very humble thing. I think the way that the world and the media is structured is always to feed us bad news because it gives
It
clicks
sells.
and sells, right? And I think our job, should be to balance it out.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have the good, you're just going to get too much of the bad.
Yeah.
And we got to look out for the kids, right? We've got to look out for the future.
Yeah.
You and I came to our path in life, and you know, for me, my parents made the decision to come here, and I thank them every day.
Yeah.
For you,
So
obviously, you got a little push from your mum, so it's a nice, friendly suggestion that also then changed your life.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
and you and I both have lived the life of an immigrant. We all struggle with our language, and we've all practiced. And look at you now, the guy that couldn't speak English, that couldn't get that job.
Thanks,
now,
man. I still learn how to
now-
speak English.
but now you're teaching people.
My kids still make fun of me speaking English.
Well, that's what makes you you.
Yeah.
Look, I can't wait to see more of your content.
Thanks, man.
I can't wait to sort of see those beautiful images that you're capturing every day. And I hope that, through this podcast, more people find you and then you can teach them. And because that's what we want to see more in the world, just beautiful, beautiful things. And
share good values.
Good values,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for being. I really appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me, man. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, amigo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Wow, what a great talk that was.